Mario, what's to bring the juice, I heard.
A lot of juice, and I think Coach Taggart's infused juice into the program. Players have bought in. It's a big day always the first day, right? A lot of hope, a lot of excitement, and guys know they have a clean slate, opportunity to go compete, and they got to prove themselves to us. We got to prove ourselves to them as coaches and as leaders and whatnot. So it's been great. It's been great, and we expect a really good day.
What was it about Coach Taggart and Oregon that drew you here from Alabama?
Oh, it's all about people. It always will be. We're in the people industry, and this is, in my opinion, this game is played from the inside out, and everything on the inside of that man as a leader, as a person, as a coach, as well as let's call it what it is. It's Oregon. It was a tremendous opportunity, a tremendous situation, and what can I say? I don't want to use cliches or whatnot, man, but I'm jumping out of my skin right now. And we want to make sure that we do the best by our players, as student athletes, as people, as everything. So it's been great.
What was your impression of, you have 3 really young linemen you're inheriting who started last year, and then a lot of guys behind them. What was your impression of the offensive line kind of in the winter?
Young. A lot of young guys that are developing. They have a really good mentality. And it's our job to keep working on that mentality. This is a development game, and the offensive line is probably the most significant development position in terms of it takes a little bit longer. You'd love for guys to come in benching 500 pounds and squatting 700 and all that other stuff, but it just doesn't happen. So what we see is a great group of guys that want to be really good, that want to do things the right way. They've been outstanding in the classroom, and now it's time to show what they can do on the football field. So.
Coach, what did you learn from working under Nick Saban, and what have you brought over here from what you learned from him?
How much time do you have now? It's an incredible 4 years. You learn everything from regimen to structure, practice planning, how to look ahead and schedule out an entire year. The pitfalls that are to come with certain phases of football, because it is kind of a phase within, almost a phase within a phase. I mean, you've got your spring recruiting that turns into spring football, that turns to the off season, circles back to the regular season, that goes into off season recruiting, that goes back into official visit. I mean, it's nonstop. So it's endless. Certainly bringing everything that I've learned over here and applying it as it fits to Coach Taggart's plan. That's the most important thing, But there are so many similarities, and it's that experience will be ultra valuable going forward here at Oregon.
You only have so much time in spring ball. What are your priorities for the offensive line and for the offense as a whole that you must get out of this to consider?
Absolutely. That's a great question. Number one is mentality. We're willing to do whatever, wherever, whenever to make sure the job gets done at a high level with intensity, with attention to detail, with relentless, maniacal effort, making sure we're doing everything humanly possible to ensure the success of our run game, the protection of our quarterback, and the execution of our offense. So it's a loaded plate, and they can handle it, and they're ready for it, and they have no choice. So.
What were your impressions of this offensive line watching film, and now, what do you think you need to work on in spring ball?
A young group that wants to be really good, and until you work with a group, it's hard to tell, just because it's two very different styles of football. We at Alabama, we prided ourselves in being a very downhill, physical, pro-style attack. And you see a lot of those qualities in our players here. So I think it's really exciting to be able to combine, these different philosophies and make it Coach Taggart's. That's the one philosophy we're running, to bring it all together and see it work with these athletes. These are really, really good young men that have been working. I can't even explain to you how hard they've worked, but they want it. They want to be good, so let's get them good.
How do you teach physicality?
Well, that's a DNA thing. But you do have to practice it, and a lot of it comes through working basic fundamentals again and again and again. The mother of all learning and teaching is the repetition, right? And sometimes that's kind of boring. It's, we call it almost like peanut butter and jelly every single day, right? I guess sometimes you can make it crunchy, sometimes it's, something else, strawberry jam instead of grape, but you've got to do it again and again and again, and there's got to be a willingness to improve. And motivation nowadays has become a 365-day-a-year job. And I think that comes through preparation. I think it comes through showing belief and trust in your players. But all that is built on that foundation of work and time put in. Time invested, I should say, instead of time put in. And piece by piece, we'll get there.
For those of us on the outside looking in, when we were here last year, the last few years, and now under Willie Taggart. Is there any way of explaining what we can expect to see the same and what we can expect to see different?
Well, the thing is, it's hard to say because I haven't been here, and I guess I'll repeat what I told our players. You know, Oregon football has been outstanding for a long, long time, and there's been several great things accomplished here, and we come from different places that have accomplished some really, really impressive things. So, like I tell everywhere I've been, we're borrowing these jerseys, we're borrowing these coaching hats. It's our responsibility, our obligation to raise the standard, to elevate the standard, to uphold the legacy. That's our job, okay? And it relates to the university, the community, our fans, the families of our players, you know, our players to come. So what can you expect? Relentless work ethic, intensity, execution, a want-to and desire that's going to be uncommon and unmatched, you know? Now we got to put that together so it shows up on the field as perfect execution. So I guess I'll be better served to answer that practice 15, if that's okay.
How big a boost was Crosby returning as well as Royce and Darren for you guys?
It's huge. You know, anytime you get seniors that have played a lot, that are good football players, you know, here's the thing. Those guys have to be our hardest workers and our best players, right? If they're your seniors, if they've been through processes before, they've been there and done that, they've got to show up on the field, and I think they will. They're excited.
Hey, Coach, what were the impressions of Oregon football in the South?
Fast. You know, very explosive, scoring a lot of points, hard to stop. You know, it's a little bit frightening, you know, a little bit scary when Oregon is on, hard to stop. So let's get it there, right?
At any of your previous coaching jobs, did you ever have an issue with opening up practice to media members?
Yeah. Yeah, oh, I can't remember. That's one of those tricky questions, man. Come on, my first interview, don't put me on the spot like that. They get tricky, you know, they get tricky sometimes. And, you know, when you're new and you've got some things that haven't been seen yet and out there, you've got to, you know, it's a head coaching decision. That's a tough chair to sit in sometimes to make those decisions.